know we've got a busy day because today is close day, and close day is always a fun and exciting day. And I want to encourage you guys, if you're like, today is not a fun and exciting day for me, that's because I don't feel like I'm hitting the goals I want to hit. Guys, I want to give you some good news. Did you guys know that that is totally like something that can be a mindset shift? And it can turn into the best day of your life. And it's all about what we do with our head. And we're going to talk a little bit about that and how to make that happen. But we're also going to give at the end of our call, I'm going to give some fun tips and ideas and plans of like how to go out and act today. But we're also going to talk about how we can turn the next 92 days. So we have 93 days counting today till the end of the year. But what we can do to make the next 92 days just go bonkers. And I know that's what you all want to do. So really quick, I want to chat just really fast. I know we are, as your VPs, we have a book club call on this book right here, Fanatical Prospecting. And I'm not sure how many of you went out and bought it and started reading it yourself, but it's a good book because he just goes straight to the, straight, just lays it out straight. Like no candy coating, no nothing is out there. And I love this quote by Dale Carnegie. It says, inaction breeds doubt and fear. Action breeds confidence and courage. If you want to conquer fear, do not sit home and think about it. Go out and get busy. And in this, he talks about 3 different laws. Like the universal law of need is number 1, the 30-day rule, and the law of replacement. But the universal law of need, you guys, this one governs desperation. It states that the more you need something, the less likely it is you will get it. Crazy, right? This law comes into play in cells with a lack of activity and that your pipeline has been depleted. So like if you feel like you have nothing, you have nobody joining, you have nobody to talk to, that's when our pipeline has been defeated. But what he talks about is what desperation then turns into. So whether you're frustrated that you haven't hit a goal, or maybe you aren't maintaining your level, or you just haven't achieved something yet, it can quickly turn into desperation if we don't monitor that. He says desperation magnifies and accelerates failure and virtually guarantees that we won't close the deals that we have to survive. Desperation first taps into the downside of the law of attraction, which states that what you focus your thoughts on, you're most likely to get. And when you're desperate, you no longer focus your thoughts on what is required for success. Instead, you focus on what will happen to you if you don't get what you need, thereby attracting failure. So we focus on what we don't have instead of what is coming up our pipeline. And he said the next problem with desperate need is the other people can sense your desperation. So, you know, in any consultant who jumps out the gate in this business, those first like 30, 45, 60 days are amazing because they jumped out the gate, got into the activity, started inviting people to take a look, and then maybe had a few people join their business, and then we pull back the reins and we like stop doing the things that got us to where we were going to go. Guys, I'm going to tell you right now, I know all of you want to be an successful executive national vice president. That process of what we do always has to be happening. We always want to have someone on deck. We always want to have someone we're talking to and inviting into the business because it's going to squelch or smash out desperation. And desperation can be quite unattractive in our business because if you feel desperate, the people you're talking to feel your desperation, and he says it actually repels people. It actually repels people. So then we become emotional and act illogically, which can cause you to make poor decisions, and these poor decisions exasperate an already bad situation, leaving you stressed, miserable, and digging a deeper hole. But there's good news, and what we're going to talk about is the 30-day rule. And the 30-day rule means that what we do consistently for 30 days in a row will turn into a 90-day boom later on. You can always like look back at your business. Like for those of you who are in crazy momentum right now, you can look back 90 days ago and see what you were doing consistently every day, and it will be a great tracker for you to see, oh yeah, that's like, I was doing my reach outs every single day. This is why 90 days back you're like in momentum. Same thing goes if we feel like frustrated, we're not happy with where we go, look back 90 days and see what you were doing every day. And that will also, and I feel like there's good news in that because we don't have to bash ourselves over the head and spank ourselves and tell us we're, horrible people, because it's just math, guys. It's just math. It's not magic. It's math. It's just being something always happening in our business, inviting someone always into it every single day and following those systems will help. So I invited one of our leaders who's going to have the biggest month in the history of her business because her and her team are on their way to national vice president. And so much of what she's seeing today started really, it's been going on for a long time, but the consistency during the really down times of her life and being consistent with what she needed to do daily, even though she didn't feel like it and she didn't have the team at that point that she has today, is why she's in the momentum that she's in. So Whitney, we're going to go ahead and let you share what you were going to share.
Okay, awesome. It's funny that you're pulling stuff out of that book because I was going to use it too. Hey guys, so I really, Beth asked me to share a little bit about, daily consistency because we have, what did you say, 92 days? We have 92 days left in the year. And so we're always talking about, what you do in 30 days, you're going to start to reap a harvest and see seeds growing in 60 days and 90 days. And we always talk about the 90-day cycle in Arbonne. So we have 92 days left in the year. And what I know about this business and what Beth knows about this business and all your VPs know is that anything is possible in these last 92 days of 2019. And so we've just learned, so much through so many of the amazing books that we've read this year. I'm like going back and thinking about Rachel Hollis's Girl Stop Apologizing and the game plan. What was the goal that you wrote down for yourself that you wanted to be celebrated January 1st, 2020? Did you say you wanted to have a white Christmas? Did you want to be a brand new regional vice president? Maybe an area manager? What was that goal? And then she talked about working backwards from there, right? So now we're working backwards from 90 days. And so I think sometimes I used to get super overwhelmed with, how do you work backwards from that? Do you just write down a QV goal? Do you write down a mid-month goal? And I know that we have trainings on that as well. But guys, ultimately, it comes down to the dailies. And I have so loved this book that we're reading. And again, if you don't have it, go out and buy it. I've told all of my managers to go get it just as well. But the thing is, instead of, freaking yourself out, or psyching yourself out and getting into this mode of desperation, which Beth just talked about, because if you're acting desperate, you're going to attract, you're going to repel, not attract, you're going to repel the things that you want in your life and in your business. But it really just comes down to the simplicity of the daily do's. And so guys, one of the things that I had to do a long time ago, probably a little over a year ago, to start implementing in my business was to make sure that I was physically doing income producing activity that would eventually breed a harvest in my business. And so the thing about that is that sometimes when we're doing the dailies, we don't always feel like it's happening right now. And what I want you guys to know is that you just have to trust in the process, and you just have to know that what we're telling you is true when you do the things that you need to do. And so we started talking about 5 and 15 and, really just what do I need to do daily to grow my business? How do I lay my head on the pillow at night if I haven't sold an RE9 set, or if I haven't sold a 30 Days to Healthy Living set, or if I haven't booked a presentation, or if I haven't talked to someone about the business? How do I sleep feeling like I have been a successful entrepreneur today? And for me, that was pointing 5 and 15. Did I reach out to 5 new people about the business today, asking them to join my team or to take whatever verbiage you want to use? I don't care. Take a peek, take a look, join my Arbonne business. I don't care. You're just saying, hey, join me in some way, shape, or form, whatever verbiage works best for you, whether it be phone call, text, Facebook Messenger, video chat, I don't care. But some way, somehow, you have asked 5 people to take a look at this amazing business opportunity, and then 15 follow-ups. And so, guys, follow-up is very vague. And so I created this document for my team just a couple weeks ago, just to kind of like refresh your brain, because I think sometimes we can go through a whole entire 24-hour period thinking about the Zoom call that we need to get on at noon, or the Zoom call that we need to get on at 8:30, and the 3 people that we want to reach out to, but we don't know when we should reach out to them because our schedules are busy and their schedules are busy, and we think about Arbonne all day long. And so I literally would not let myself go to sleep until I made sure that I had sent 5 new messages, asking 5 new people to take a look at the business, and 15 follow-ups. So I like to break it down and just play games. Some of you guys don't like to do that because maybe it seems too confusing, but just some ideas. You could ask 5 people a day. You could follow up and ask them to post for you. Now, guys, I don't just reach out and ask people to post for me if I haven't already talked to them about the business, or talked to them about skincare, or talked to them about the nutrition. Like, it's a follow-up, right? But it's a form of follow-up. I'm following up, asking them to post for me. You could ask 5 preferred clients if they're satisfied with their recent purchase, if they're only using the 30-day, if they've thought about trying the brightening line, if they've thought about trying the cosmetics. You can easily follow up with 5 new PCs or 5 existing PCs. Satisfaction, upgrading. Are you trying to upgrade your preferred clients to become an independent consultant? You guys, the moment that my PCs are like, oh my gosh, I just told my best friend Susie about my 30-day results. The moment, not 2 weeks from that moment, the moment that they say that they're in love with Arbonne and that they're telling everyone they know about it, I am immediately like, see, you should just do this business with me. It's only $19 and you can become an independent consultant. Or you could do 5 follow-ups asking for an in-person event, or asking for a one-on-one, or asking for some kind of online event. Oh, there you go. Now I don't have to use my phone. So you could do 5 follow-ups asking for some sort of physical presentation, right? So you don't have all of this crazy stress. Like, you don't have to go to bed and think, oh gosh, like I didn't book a physical presentation today. You can go to bed satisfied knowing, well, but I did ask 5 people if they would meet me for coffee or if they would host for me. And I did ask 5 people if they would post for me. And oh, look, I already have a new friend and she lives in Kansas. And how cool is that? I didn't know her. Oh, I followed up with 5 preferred clients today. Follow up can be a lot of different things. So these are just like memory joggers. These are just ideas. But if you're not following up with the seeds that you already have planted, you've planted them for someone else. And guys, that's happened in my business, and I've heard other national vice presidents say the same thing. If you plant a seed and you don't go back and follow up with it, you have literally just started building someone else's business, because we know that the magic happens with the math, and that most people are not going to say yes to you until you have reached out or followed up between 5 to 12 times. So follow up is almost just as important, if not more important, than the initial reach out. And that's why I do more of it every day. So 5 new ask a day, take a look at my business, 15 follow-ups. If I don't sell a dime, if I don't sell $1 in QV, I go to bed satisfied knowing that I did what I needed to do for my business for the day. I don't go to bed sad or depressed or upset, and then I wake up the next day excited to do it again, because that's my daily dues. And there's also, I just recently added this because we have to always keep our pipeline full. And I think a lot of times I used to get really worried, I know as a new consultant, district, area, even region, thinking that I had talked to every single person that I knew. And so one of the things that I've implemented just in the last year is constantly adding 5 new people a day on social media. Now, granted, I have kids, they're in school, I meet people out and about, but there are some days that I don't leave my house, just to be totally honest with you guys, or kids are sick or whatever. Heck, last week I had 3 kids with fevers and vomiting all at the same time. So obviously I didn't leave my house that day unless it was to go get chicken noodle soup. So on those days, you guys, I'm making sure that I have friend requested or started to follow 5 new people. And I know it's simple, and you're like, well, what do you do from there? I don't care if you don't do anything from there. I don't even care if you send them a message as soon as you start following them. What will happen is over time, you will also start to reap a harvest from all of those seeds as well. You're just keeping your pipeline full, and you're always adding new people, right? It's just like if you were to meet someone at a group presentation and they didn't join your business until 3 years later. At some point in time, you had put them into your funnel or into the pipeline, And now you're starting to reap the rewards from that. It's no different. So just keeping my pipeline full so that I never feel like I don't have someone to talk to. Every single day when I wake up, I think, oh my gosh, I'm so excited to talk to new people today. So these were the dailies that I started to implement in my business, just so that I felt like I was truly making progress, if that makes sense. And so in this book that we've been reading, it all like came together tenfold. And he talks about prospecting in chapter 5. And so I was just going to share with you guys that he says, you got that, Beth? Okay. I was just going to share with you guys that he says, if you ever feel like you're in a slump in your business, or if you ever feel like, I don't know who else to reach out to, I don't know who else to talk to, all of the prospects that I had that were supposed to sign up, something's happened and everything's falling through. And you guys, first off, we all get that feeling at some point in time in this business, every single one of us. But he says that success in sales is a simple equation of daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, and annually activity. He says, in other words, you are in complete control of your future. So guys, here's the thing. Your future could be midnight tonight on close. Your future could be whatever. For my team, 2 a.m. Central Standard Time. Your future could be next week. Are you closing out your week every single Friday? Your future could be 2 weeks. Your future could be 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. What does your future look like, right? Future is anything that hasn't happened yet. You are in complete control of that. So even what happens tonight at midnight, you guys, you can still completely change the course of your business just in what you decide to do from this point until close, right? You can completely change the course of your business. It doesn't matter what happened in the past, what happened last 30 days, what happened last 60 days or last 90 days. The next 92 days can be the best 92 days of the year if you decide that you're going to implement and work your business every single day. Every single day. And so he says, so you're in complete control of your future. Even in a desperate situation, if you go back to the basics and focus on the right activity, the results will come. Because this is the right activity for our Arbonne business, right? We sell, we sponsor, we service, and what better way to know that you are doing the right things than to just go, hey, I need to ask 5 people to take a look at my business today, and I got to follow up with 15 people some way, somehow. And it was funny because on the VP call, somebody said like, oh, you're so good at tracking. You guys, I wasn't. When I first started doing this, I did tallies, like tallies in a notebook. Like, oh, okay, I hit my 5. I didn't write down names. I didn't even write down what I talked to them about. I just tallied it. So that in my brain, it was super simple and I knew that I did what I needed to do. Eventually, over a period of time, those tally marks evolved into names on pieces of paper and into trackers and Excel spreadsheets, because eventually I realized what was happening and I wanted to have a better handle on exactly who I was talking to and about what, because it snowballs, it gets bigger and it gets bigger and it gets bigger, but it doesn't have to start as something big and hairy and scary. Just do what you need to do today and just tally it up on a piece of paper, right? Because that will grow tomorrow and it will grow again the next day. So he says it usually takes about 30 days of dedicated daily activity to get back on track, right? So maybe you feel so derailed right now and so off track. You're going to do this, and a lot of you guys are going to want to stop by the end of 7 days, or you're going to want to stop by the end of 2 weeks. In fact, in my own personal business and what I tell my team is very rarely do I see people even make it past 30 days of doing this. So it's a challenge and it's a call to action for you to test it and see, can I really be this dedicated to my business and do this 5 and 15 for the next 92 days? Because the thing is that most people quit 2 weeks in. And you're not going to see the harvest and you're not going to reap the rewards if you let that be you. So he says, when you prospect consistently, that means every day amazing things happen. The cumulative impact of daily prospecting is massive. You begin to connect with the right people, the right accounts at the right time. Suddenly, opportunities just drop into your lap out of nowhere. And he says, my team calls this the phenomenon of the sales gods, right? So it's like you start to hear those people that are like, oh my gosh, this just happened and I didn't see it coming. It was because they decided a long time ago to do the daily do's, right? It's truly just reaping the rewards from that. And he said most salespeople never get lucky because they only do the minimum amount of prospecting required to just squeak by. You guys, I always tell my team 5 and 15 is like minimum. 5 and 15 is like, I've got 101 fever and I know that I still have to work my Arbonne business that day. So I'm going to do 5 and 15. But the days where I have a little extra time by the grace of God, by myself, without my kids, I do more. So you also have to be willing to do more when you have that extra pocket of time and be satisfied when you don't, that you did what you needed to do for the day, right? You're 5 and 15. So he says most people do the minimum just to squeak by. And when they do start prospecting, usually out of desperation, they expect instant miracles. Again, you're not going to see miracles in 7 days or 14 days. You're going to start to see growth, but it's truly going to take to the end of the year, these 92 days. So just work it all out, you guys. Just make sure that you're working your business every single day. And it does require consistent commitment and discipline over time. And he also says at the very, very beginning of this book that the brutal truth about this business and sales is that you are owed nothing. So I think a lot of times we can get to district manager, area manager, regional vice president, heck, even national vice president, and we can go, oh, I'm good. Like, I deserve to take a day off. You guys, I've heard training calls where, Peyton Schneibner was working on her honeymoon. I guarantee you that she made sure that she had asked someone to take a look at the business that day, right? And we wonder why they are where they are. And so that's always convicting to me, is that even though I reached my first why a long time ago as a regional vice president, in order to get back up and build for the future, the brutal truth was that I was owed nothing. And that I had to get back to the basics, and I had to make sure that I was doing my 5 and 15 even when I didn't feel like it. So that's all I'm going to say. But he says the greatest salespeople are skipping meals and doing deals, whatever it takes to win. And so that's my call to all of us, to do whatever it takes to win over these next 92 days.
Thank you, Whitney. I love that. And you guys, seriously, if I want to see you guys in your stories today, post a picture that you went out on Amazon and bought this book. And because he definitely is writing it from like somebody that's guiding people in sales. But I think oftentimes in Arbonne, we forget that we're in sales. And that he says that in here that prospecting is the number one thing you have to do all the time. And he said, and it never gets easy. It's always something that people don't enjoy. But the part that we enjoy is the conversation that comes on the other side of it, right? But we have to be willing to do the hard to get the great. And in another book that I'm reading, he talks about we have to be okay with doing everything that seems small and little, in the sense of it doesn't feel like, how is 5 and 15 going to make a difference for me? But guys, unless we do good at the small, we won't be celebrated in the big. So be okay with that. And some of the things that I know I hear from folks, because when they might do it for 2 days in a row, and then, well, the kids were screaming and crying, and I just, and I think it's like, I love what Whitney said is don't be okay with putting your head on the pillow until it's done. Now, guys, back in Dark 100, when I started Arbonne, and probably even the first 13 years of my business, we couldn't do what we get to do today. We had to rely on those times between 8 a.m. and 9 p.m. because we couldn't make phone calls. Before that, we couldn't make phone calls after 9 p.m. because that was just rude. Right? We couldn't send out messages. We was forbidden. Like, even when texting started, to send out a text message because people would fully ignore you. But this is how we communicate today. So sending out messages like this today is a piece of cake, in the sense of we have access to people at all times. I mean, Facebook even tells us if you have insomnia and you're up in the middle of the night, Facebook will even tell us who's live on Facebook with the little sidebar thingy, if you guys didn't know that. And so, hey, Amy, you having a hard time sleeping tonight too? Gosh, I couldn't get you out of my head, We have ability to do this at all times. And I think about when I would be sitting waiting for my kids in the line to pick them up. Sometimes I would sit there for 20 minutes, and I know a lot of you have line time with your kids, but usually what we do is we do this the whole time, right? So what if you turned those moments into asks and follow-ups? Then it's amazing what's going to happen to your business. It's just amazing because what we track grows. So thank you, Whitney. That was awesome, guys. Enough fuel to help you get on your way to National Vice President this year, by the end of the year, to have your business in a trajectory where that's where you're heading, guys. And I know that's what you all want. So really quick, I just want to go over a couple of close day tips. You want to make sure, guys, you have your $150 order because that's how you get paid on your success line. The other thing is you want to, how close are you to being in qualification for the next level? How close are you to bonus money? Figure that out. I like to work backwards. What's that dollar amount? You probably already know that. If you haven't sat down to figure out the math, then do it. It's crazy what's possible. We have 11 and a half hours in the day, almost 12 hours to make that goal happen. And people underestimate what can happen in a small amount of time, and they think it's just not possible, and they quit and they wait till the next month. And I want to challenge you guys to not next month, September. Don't next month, September. There's a reason why we don't, tomorrow's not here yet. It's because we are in today. And if you want to see great big things happen in your business, we have to work in today and not in tomorrow, because tomorrow is not it's not here yet. So we got to work in today. So how close, once you figured out where you are for in qualification for the next level and your bonus money, what about people on your team? Who's really close to district qualification? Maybe they don't know it. Guys, never assume that people know the numbers, because most people don't. And anytime I start sending out quick, I didn't know. Well, yeah, you're only like $750 away. You're only like $1,500 away. That's always the terminology I use, because it's amazing what can happen, like I said, in the last few hours of the day, and we have almost 12. So talk with your team, shoot out messages, say, would you like to know how to hit that? If you're not quite sure how they can hit it, then send a message on up the line, and we're gonna definitely do our darndest to help you, because you'd be shocked when you have a whole group working towards something, what is possible. Have you reached out also to all your PCs? This is definitely an area, like Whitney said, follow-up is almost more important than prospecting, and it's so true. The fortune is in the follow-up. Did you guys know that the thing that frustrates people about network marketing companies the most is they go and they fall in love with the product, and then their consultant quits and they have no way to get it? It's the #1 complaint out there about network marketing companies, is because nobody follows up with them. So there's a ton of PCs that have a free product waiting for them with a $150 order today, guys. So it gives us an excuse to talk to people. And I tell you, so many of mine have ordered well over 150. They're like 225, 250. So all it takes is an ask, and that opens the door for more conversation. There's a reason why Arbonne gives us these little, I like to call them low-hanging fruit, is because it gives us opportunities to have conversations with people that we might not think about calling. And then the last thing, guys, I wanted to say, or two more things, is just to not see what is like what you don't have. Don't focus on what you don't have right now, but focus on what you can get, and focus on what is possible. And I don't have time to tell you guys all the crazy miraculous things I've seen on the last day of the month, but I've seen some doozies. I've seen someone go from 18, 19,000 to over 40,000 in QV on the last day of the month, guys. I've seen this one gal, she was about 5,000 away from qualifying for region. She sat down in 1 hour, collected $2,500 in sales. And she looked up at me and she goes, how did I just do that? And I'm like, because you're excited, you're forward focused, you're thinking with abundance, and you believe all things are possible. And that's why. And so it's crazy what is possible. If you haven't seen the verbiage that I posted on the Transformation Nation page, I think I posted it Saturday, but it might have been Sunday. And it had tons of different verbiage about our group starting on October 7th and how to reach out to folks. Like, guys, just decide to send 100 of those text messages out today. People want to order their products tonight because today is close day. That always pushes our orders out a couple of days. If you order a fit kit for someone tonight, it's probably not going to ship out till Wednesday. Our group starts next Monday. So people really, if they want to start and have their products within next Monday, those orders need to be placed today. But take that challenge and just decide, I'm going to invite 100 people. It wouldn't even take 100 to get a ton of orders, but just decide I'm going to invite 100 people over the next 11 and a half hours to join me on our next 30-day group. And then guys, also the last thing is when we're closing out a month and working to like solidify our goals in the month of September, you're going to talk to a lot of people if you decide to do all of this. And that's going to help inadvertently build your calendar in October. So take the first 2 weeks of October and work to fill them with appointments, events, one-on-ones, take-a-looks. Work to fill those first 2 weeks, because those 2 weeks will then like load up the last 2 weeks of October. And just like I shared a couple of, like probably about a month ago, we talked about a gal who decided to have a take-a-look every day for 30 days. And she got so busy because she did it for 2 weeks that it just filled up her calendar to full. So those are some ideas. Use today to create